Kaboom!
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the AIB Show. This is the Mitt.
And Dominic.
So it's 4/22/22, and I just said that only because I was trying to type in the date, and I got all confused for a second because I forgot what today was. But yeah, it's been a crazy couple of weeks. We haven't actually chatted in a couple of weeks. We put out some episodes, but I was out of town for a week, and now I'm back. So it's literally been 2 weeks since Dominic and I have had a chance to chat. A lot's happened.
Number one being you're late to this recording, which you always complain about.
Yeah, but according to Dominic, what's 5 minutes?
No. According to you, there's societal norms that one must abide by.
I was trying to curtail.
Where's the notice? I bet you, had I not texted you, you wouldn't have even freaking remembered.
Would have remembered to do the podcast?
To get on, yeah.
Bruh. Okay, apparently you don't know who I am.
Apparently I don't, Mr. Punctuality. Dropped the ball here.
Did not drop the ball.
What? I'm sorry. What time were we supposed to start? What time were we supposed to start?
I'm saying that I was late. Okay. Right. I'm not at all saying that I was late.
Audience, remember this. Remember this, because this is the guy who always complains, even when I'm not late.
It was 5 minutes. No, hold up. When are you not late? It doesn't start there. You're always late.
At least I give you the warning.
You, first of all, no, you can't give me the warning at the time you're supposed to be there. That's not a warning.
I mean, it's better than. Hold on.
The definition of a
warning. It's better than no warning, which I did not receive this morning.
This is not a warning. If I'm telling you I'm late at the time I'm late, that's not a warning. That's just I know.
It's a courtesy heads up.
Again, how is it a heads up if I'm telling you I'm late at the time I'm late? It's not a heads up. I already know you're late.
Oh, just so I'm not here sitting, twiddling my thumbs, waiting on you, like I was this morning.
Captain Obvious over here. I know you're late because you're not here. I don't need you to tell me you're not late. I figured that part out.
Well, yeah, but it's telling you I'm late, giving you comfort that I shall be on soon, as opposed to maybe just don't show up. So I'm sitting here thinking, I wonder if this Clafford doesn't show up.
Yeah, when has it been not showing up?
When has Dominic not shown up?
Are you serious, dog?
Not showing up at all? At all? At all?
Okay. How long did I wait? No, how long did I keep texting you to make sure we're doing that now? How many minutes have elapsed? How many work hours have elapsed? Yes, for this show.
Oh,
not many. In fact, that's for this show because you've done it for other things.
No, because I'm always proactive. You say it doesn't count, but I'm proactive.
Again, at the time, it doesn't matter.
No, but it's contradictory to what you just said. How many times are you reaching out to me? You're not, because I'm proactive with the heads up. Agree to disagree.
We'll move on.
Tomato.
All right, continue. Talk to me. What you got?
Mike Tyson.
What? That's a weird. I don't expect you to go there, but all right.
Oh, you didn't. You don't know? Do you don't know? He was on I believe a JetBlue flight.
Okay.
And there was a seemingly drunken, intoxicated passenger behind him.
Okay.
While his friend was sitting across the aisle. This passenger's friend was sitting across the aisle, filming his friend. And the guy kept getting up, kind of Mike Tyson, and whispering in his ear and talking to him. The friend claims at first Mike gave them a picture and everything was cool, but the guy wouldn't stop. And you see him kind of standing up, talking, and Mike's not saying anything. And then later on, you see a clip of Mike just getting him in the wind. 1, 2, 3, pop, 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 pop. Like just giving him the hands.
What? How big is this dude? Not that it really matters, but
because afterwards you see the guy sitting in his seat, and you see the friend say, "Hey," like say the guy's name is John. Hey, John, look, turn. And he turns with a sad face, and he just got like some blood trickling down the side of his head. It's pretty funny. And
wow.
And if you look at the comments of people, it's wild that times have changed, because most people are defending Mike, saying it's just obnoxious to think that people always feel they're owed something from a celebrity, right? How is Mike not talking to me? And this is Mike. Of course I can talk to him. And just going on. And some witnesses said that the guy Mike was telling the guy, like, stop. You're being annoying. Stop. And finally, I don't know. There's no video of the transition. It's just boom, he's doing something. Boom, he's getting pummeled. So I really am curious to know what was the final trigger, but none of them got arrested. None of them got, which is interesting. Or question, and Mike evidently just stepped off the flight and left. The guy, look for the video.
Wow, dude.
The guy's kind of lucky though, because it's Mike standing up over a seat, bending down, punching him. So the angles aren't that good to get the full Mike Tyson 1-2, right? If this was in the aisle, right? Yeah, it would have been a different story.
Wow. I did not know about this. That's interesting. That's interesting. That's wow.
Did,
Okay. Good on
did
that. When did
you?
this happen, by the way?
I believe either on 420 or 421
All right.
this week.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you see that we had discussed recently all the pluses and
Yeah.
CNN Plus already
It's,
failed?
Rob, I posted that yesterday, dog. Are you just doing that to be a dick right now? Yeah. Knowing that because I said it was going to. I literally said, I'm like,
You
I
didn't
don't.
say on the show it was going to.
It's funny. I'm in LA last week, and I'm talking to a friend. We're having breakfast, and he's in the business as well, and we're talking about this stuff. And I was like, I don't get. I was like, one, I hate the pluses because it's just lazy effing marketing, and that really bothers me. But two, I'm sitting there and I was like, I don't know what's going on here because why would anybody like? I was like, I don't understand the CNN Plus dynamic because it's already 24 hours. Uh, how much more news are you going to give me? Which means that now you have to give me now you've got to give me like a whole different dynamic of aspect. Now you've got to give me more shows that are there. Now I got to change what CNN is. Now I have to go there for other things that aren't news. And you change the whole mantra. And I was like, I don't understand the need for CNN Plus. Then the big thing was CNN got bought, for those of you who don't know, by Discovery. Well, not CNN. Time Warner Media got bought by Discovery. And what I found out last week was CNN Plus was a plan by Warner that had not been run by Discovery at all. And normally, because it was such a big deal, because it cost a lot of money to get this thing up and running, you would have paused it until Discovery was ready to roll, until the merger was finalized and deals were done, and they just push it through anyway. So Discovery thing came pretty close to being finished, I think, a couple weeks ago. And then they're like, first line of business, cut CNN Plus. So there's the money just gone. Bro, they dropped a lot of money on this thing,
300
from
million.
marketing to whatever else.
300 million so
Gone.
far, and all. I feel bad for the employees, but yeah, you called it in the show
I mean,
recently. Like, why do we need a CNN Plus?
You
and all those
don't,
pluses?
man. You don't need that. And it's very, very, very annoying.
Here's also what we don't need: mugshots
What?
being released.
What shots?
Prior mugshots. You know when you're arrested, mugshots.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So Louisiana has a proposed legislation, HB 729, which would limit mugshots being released prior to conviction. The reason this is very good if this goes through is because if somebody has been arrested and being tried, remember, innocent until proven guilty in the American justice system. And, in fact, of course, everyone who is arrested is not guilty in general. Should never have been arrested. So the mugshots being released for people subconsciously affects the public, what's the word I'm looking for? The public view and thought of this individual as potentially a guilty individual. It muddies the jury pool, right? And of course, disproportionately so people of color, because disproportionately so darker pigmented individuals are arrested more. Therefore, there really is no need to release mugshots. Okay, you know, this individual got arrested. Let's release the mugshot to the what is that doing? It's just reinforcing. It makes you think they're actually guilty.
Guilty. That's the point. Yeah.
Right. Right. But it has an adverse effect where the justice system in its purest form should, take effect, which we know is all bullshit. But that'll be interesting if it goes through, and then if that actually has a domino effect elsewhere, it would be amazing.
I don't understand half these. I guess I'm just at a loss. I don't understand half these general rules that are coming about right now, or laws, etc., that are just intent on criminalizing people right off the bat. Like, here's an interesting one. Right?
You don't understand?
No.
I mean, it's
I understand,
the system's
but I'm
working
like,
perfectly.
No,
it's
I'm
working
with you.
perfectly.
But if you said this to me back in, like, you know what I'm saying? If you said it to me back in like the 50s, 60s, I'd be like, obviously. Said it to me in the 80s, I'd be like, all right, we should hopefully try and change this. Get to the 90s to 2000s. I just assume the past tense, knowing as well that I know that people are selfish AF, that we'd have progress to some level.
No,
and
because
it's insane how limited the progress is.
There's money in criminalizing the marginalized, which are minorities and poor people in general. poor white people are getting screwed too, right? It's listen, and this leads me to this: the hypocrisy of everything. You see what Wimbledon is doing?
No.
Famed tennis, the most elite tennis tournament. They're banning Russian players.
Why are you saying like that? Why are you saying like that? That was like...
I have no idea. They banned Russian players from playing.
Okay.
Because of what Russia is doing.
Okay.
This is, to me, is the dumbest thing ever.
Agreed.
At which point, then fine. No English player should ever play. No American player should be allowed to do anything, ever.
No.
We're gonna punish the Russian players because of what. How is that affecting?
You got to look at the now, man. If you're going to be doing something like this, you got to look at the current state of affairs.
All right.
So current state of affairs, we're good. They're bad.
Yeah, you see that's the funny thing because it's the current state of affair in the media, not the current state in the world, where America is still screwing over half the world.
The current state of affairs in the places with money. It just is, man. Now, with that being said, first of all, the idea of saying if you were a Russian citizen, then you are in essence Putin is kind of ridiculous. Toy with you there, right? Which is what this is, right? It's an extension of that. Now, whether this is done to, and the thing is too, it's like I don't think you're gonna get any like it's not like Putin's gonna go, whoa, we can't play Wimbledon.
Oh, we can't play. Okay, I'm withdrawing. Yeah,
can't
play Wimbledon.
My bad, homie. I'm out.
Yeah,
you know, like there's like the fact that if the oligarchs, if cutting off their funding and seizing their assets, et cetera, isn't driving Putin to stand down, yeah, I'm not. The Wimbledon game is just kind of
it's
pointless.
Just it's just hypocritical and so want to be righteous. That's probably why subconsciously I said
that's what it is.
That's probably why I said, the elite. It's so.
That's what it is.
Pompous, actually.
It's I'm nah. I don't want to use the word woke because it's not woke. It's saying that it's just saying like look how where I am of where we are in society and what I'm doing. This is what I can do. This is like my one man, one vote situation. So this is I am Wimbledon. I can do this, and this is my stance with Ukraine. And it's foolish, and it's unnecessary, and it doesn't do anything. Right? It's just beyond foolish. Like, but there's so much stuff like that in general. Like I'm sitting there right now and I was just vexed this morning because one on a positive, actually I don't even have a positive note. So Marjorie Taylor Greene's got to speak today, apparently, to see whether or not she can run for office in Atlanta, in Georgia. And it doesn't really matter. And that's what she's gonna. In essence, the whole thing was if to say whether or not she had anything to do with January 6th, and if she did have something to do with January 6th, then based on the 14th Amendment, she cannot be eligible for public office, which is comedic, by the way, because the person who got the final say on it is a Trump guy. So all this is kind of moot, right? But more than anything else, it's just supposed to get her to speak under oath about what her positions were on January 6th. However, and again, I'm no lawyer, so I don't know this. Can't you just plead the fifth the whole damn time? Didn't somebody else do that recently?
Chappelle style?
No, but literally, I think somebody else just did this. Who was called up as well? Plead the fifth. I forgot how many times, like legit 100 and some odd times.
Yeah, I don't
right.
know.
So, like, what's the point? No, because the other part of it too is, as we all know, Democrats don't do things. They say things. Oh, nothing happens. It's all not going to do anything. It's just kind of pointless. So that's what frustrates me. Is I see this and it's kind of pointless. But what also frustrates me more than anything else is that people still are on her side, and that frustrates me. Like there's a right. Like forget her as an individual. There are people that give her power, and those people are just horrible people. And I mean that wholeheartedly across the board. By the way, without dilution, you're a horrible person if you feel anything that she's saying is appropriate. Period. And if you happen to be a friend of mine, I apologize, but you apparently are a horrible person as well. And actually, I don't apologize.
You know
what?
I agree with that, but then. I'm going to take it across the board. I mean, supporting Biden. Okay. What's really the difference? I keep saying this. What's really the difference?
We went through this, Doug. We had a whole episode on the lesser of two evils. We literally just did. We've done this debate already.
To me, it's like pretty much supporting almost every high-level politician.
It's not because if you're a high-level politician coming out and saying there are Jewish lasers doing stuff to our atmosphere, who are just, spewing absolute nonsense, I mean, things that are beyond uneducated, like things are just blatantly wrong. Forget morally wrong, just wrong. Like just like, hey, 1+1 is 5, like just dumb. And you give this person power. That's where I'm like, come on, man, be better. I'm not even talking about the nuance. I'm talking about you're just an idiot.
We give person power, leader, quote unquote, leader of the free world, who still feels the crime bill was the right thing to do.
But hold up, that's nuanced. That is not 1 plus
Why
1
is that
is 5.
nuanced?
It's not 1 plus 1 is 5. Again, see, we're going on this lesser two evils thing again, guy. And I don't want to go down this path again with you. But if I'm telling you that things are blatantly, factually incorrect, right? What you're talking about here has two sides of it. One side benefited, one side didn't. And depends on whose side you're on. 1 plus 1 is 5 is always wrong.
Yeah.
You feel me?
But
so
I mean,
Marjorie Taylor Greene is always wrong. Lesser two evils. Stay with me here, man. Focus.
Yeah.
All right. This is the difference. So we're not going to go down. We're not going to rehash this debate again regarding somebody can tune into whatever episode that was and hear me and you go back and forth. And eventually, I think you conceded, by the way. I think you did in the end concede to lesser two evils.
I think I did.
Right? Because it is just, that is what it is. We have to work with what we have.
Biden
right?
sucks.
And if you want to change it, you got to vote in the bottom up. And I get that.
Speaking of politician, Tennessee, a town called Livingston, Tennessee. Never heard of it. City. Mayor Robert Hayes, excuse me, declared April as Confederate History Month. Robert Hayes declared April as Confederate History Month. Robert Hayes is a black man. Robert Hayes is a jackass.
But I don't see, like, why.
And while signing this, there were 6 or 7 members of the, I forgot the term of this group, something of the Confederacy, standing there with him, over him, as he's signing, like a celebratory moment. Well, this jackass signs Confederate History Month, where some states still have...
like those laws from those days that are still in place.
Yeah, no, but still have like holidays. It's mind numbing. It's also, it's like I never shut up about this. The hypocrisy of the U.S. There's no difference. We might as well celebrate 9/11 and make it a holiday. There's no difference whatsoever. Put up statues of Bin Laden. 9/11, instead of a day of mourning and remembrance, it should be a holiday. We should be celebrating.
We all know that. Hold up. 9/11 was a day of mourning.
No, but if we go down the same logical path, it shouldn't be.
January 6th is not. Right? Now, again, the volume is different. January 6th is not. Right? Timothy McVeigh situation is not. January 6th is. There are situations in this world, Dominic, I don't know if you've realized, that depending on who the perpetrator is what causes various dynamics to occur. I.e., the perpetrator is not American, and by all means not American, and of a different tone of skin color. That is going to incite significant differences of opinion. Similarly, what's happening right now in Ukraine and Russia, you have a situation right now where Poland and actually many European countries are opening the borders to let Ukrainians in, rightfully so. But when this happened, and they're doing it in a lot more, they worked out a lot of the kinks, which is a pretty garbage way to say that, but because sadly a few years ago we had a similar dynamic with Syria, and you had refugees in Syria, and when they were trying to go to Europe, it did not go smoothly. And half of that was because Europe wasn't ready. The other half, I'm using percentages pretty loosely here, but the other portion of that was related to the fact that Syrians don't look like the rest of the Europeans. And I don't mean that to say that it's one of these things where if people are generally more disposed to if you look the same and are the same, etc., you are by default welcome, because there's a comfort, right? And Europe as a whole is comfortable with Ukraine, and it's actually been said in so many news broadcasts.
Oh my God, it's wild. There's clips. There's like a montage of these are normal people. Yes. These are white people. These aren't from third world. Like, they never heard it say normal and regular using those words.
That's what's happening now, right? So people are comfortable with people with what they look like, with similar skin tone individuals. Whereas people of similar occupation, et cetera, which is why old school neighborhoods were the same, which is why all these things worked out that way and stuff like that. So it's pretty interesting we look that way. to see what's going on in those countries. And it's mind blowing how those things kind of play out, but it's just the nature of the beast. And then I was listening to a news broadcast this morning, as I'm wont to do in the morning to upset myself before I start the day. And in the UK, there is a proposal to send. I think it's on the Conservative Party. It's part of the Conservative Party proposal, but I forget the woman's name who's proposing this. But any in essence illegal aliens or people who come into the country illegally will be sent to Rwanda. Wherever you come from, independent, you're
What?
going to, yeah.
Is Rwanda on board with this?
So Rwanda has been getting some money from a variety of countries to do such things over the time, and so it's they're not on board. But the dynamic was, in essence, is you're going to send you back to Rwanda. So if you come from any other part of Africa, that's one thing. If you come from different parts of you come from the Middle East or whatever, blah blah blah, you're going right to Rwanda. Now I'm sure I'm saying this very loosely because I just heard this in the news broadcast. So I'm sure some of these things are wrong. Or not wrong, I may be getting some of the nuance off, but just the concept alone of saying, hey, all y'all go to Rwanda, which is just an amazing thought process, right? And the thought process there was much like the U.S. did to send everybody back to Mexico to wait outside the border, even though they could have come from Honduras or any place in Central South America. Mexico's where you got held, and they gave Mexico some money to support that cause. Similar dynamic applies here to Rwanda, right? That was the gateway, if you will, to perceiving this new way of doing things. But just think about that, the lunacy of such a thought process, right? And by the way, the reason it's getting any dissent, take that back, the dissent that I've heard, it's all based on efficacy, cost, etc. Not moral or anything else, man. It's financial, right? And I juggle because, again, I go back and say people are selfish. So I found that very, very yeah, so that I found that was hilarious.
Not hilarious. I don't know if you saw this video making the rounds past couple weeks. A little boy. Now there's been kind of dissension as to whether he's 8 or 10 years old. Regardless, little kid being arrested in Syracuse, accused of stealing a bag of chips. You see that video?
Yeah.
So he's screaming. His hands are behind his back. The police are saying that technically he wasn't handcuffed, so everybody's trying to wonder how and why were his hands always behind his back. Being thrown into the police car. Now the police say afterwards they wound up not arresting him, but taking him to his father. Mm-hmm. He was accused of stealing a bag of chips. Mm-hmm. And
how old was it again? 10?
8 or 10.
Okay.
The kid is clearly going to be scarred from this. Yeah. This is the problem with the friggin' police. One of 1,000. You have a teaching moment, right? You can have a stern talking to the kid. You sit him down. You let him know the consequences of a path of stealing. Listen, it's a bag of chips, right? And there's a guy arguing with the police, like, what the F is going on? How are you doing this? And the officer says something really rude, like, yeah, what would happen, or what's going to happen when he's in your house stealing your stuff, which is a weird way to describe and envision a little kid doing something, whether it's because it's racial or not. It's a weird thing. That's the justification of treating the kid this way, it's a disturbing video. And the problem is this kid is going to be scarred from it. This kid is going to have a natural aversion to police, a natural dislike of police, which isn't going to help this situation.
Create another Dominic in this world.
Yeah. No, but here's the situation. Here's I've been reflecting on this a lot lately. Everyone's always shocked that I have no issues with police. I do think.
I'm sorry, what?
People are shocked I have no issues with police. And as a whole. No, I don't. As a whole.
Okay. I'm also shocked, apparently.
No, meaning if I see a random police officer, I don't like him, or I'm jaded by police, which many people are. Just don't like police, don't F with police at all. Mm-hmm. I'm not like that. I call out police on the hypocrisy and the bullshit, which is widespread. Mm-hmm. I don't believe there are only a few bad apples, because the other officers that see things and don't do things about it, they're bad. Episode 5, talking about police beating the crap out of me. When 2 officers are stomping on my head and beating me up, and another dozen officers are watching, are only the 2 ones bad? No, they're all bad. They're all pieces of shit. Every one of them. So that's 14 officers in one precinct. One little small precinct in Miami Beach. Now, extrapolate that across the country. There's way more than a few bad apples. So I've been thinking more and more that, yeah, I'm just kind of calling out all people as being bad. Like, if you are an officer and you don't stand up and do something, you're bad. Straight up.
But that's just a person. But I'm with you there. Yes, your occupation.
You know, there was, I think it was in Broward last year. I remember there was a woman who tried to get a woman officer who tried to get a man officer off of a kid, and he pushed her back, and I was like, good for her. And then I saw something last month, I'm not sure in what state, might have been Florida again, where an officer was really roughing up a kid in the back of the car, and a female officer went and simply just grabbed him, and he turned around and put his hand on her neck, his colleague on her neck. And it's wild that these two videos are women stepping up, which to me is harder, but I still feel they need to. They chose this job, so they should be stepping up, but it's admittedly harder at that position. But yeah, these officers don't do shit. There's, did you see the sad story of, what's the gentleman who got shot last week? Derek Niola, maybe?
I'm not gonna lie to you. Here's the sad reality. I've apparently become jaded about hearing shootings, about situations. So now I'm unfamiliar with this one as well.
What was his? Patrick Leoya, shot in the back of his head in Michigan. So, not sure what happened. He might have ran. I think he was pulled over for speeding, and then might have ran. The officer. Oh, you see the video. The officer and him struggling.
Oh, I did hear about this one. I lied. I did hear about this.
The
one.
officer is on top of him.
Yes.
And then you hear the officer yelling, "Don't," or "Put down the taser, don't go for the taser," something like that. And watch the video a few times. It kind of looks like he may have something in his hand, maybe the taser, may not, but he's prone on the ground, like on his stomach. And the officer shoots him in the back of the head, on top of him. That's the back of the head.
That's why I heard it, because it was that's some assassination type stuff.
I mean, this is the stuff we rail against in other countries. This is the thing we talk about, third world, where Trump says pieces of shit country. This is right here. This is in our backyard. It happens every day, right? So here's my long-winded thing. I'm coming to the conclusion. Police, I hate to stereotype and justify. Police are a terrorist group in this country, straight up. Macro level, you do it across the board, terrorists. That's it. Like, I'm getting less and less appreciative and understanding of them and what they do and the widespread terror that they cause on society. Straight up.
Okay.
On a lighter note, listed on Facebook, Eddie, we did talk about Mike Tyson earlier. We just got a comment from our guy, Eddie, who asked if we saw the punches, and it was spectacular. Obnoxious passenger bothering Mike Tyson. Yeah, laid him out.
That was a lighter note you wanted to go back to? Somebody
that
getting beat up by Mike Tyson?
That was funny.
On an actual lighter note and a good note, Taco Bell is bringing back the Mexican pizza next month, yo.
You guys may recall Puff has been, I think a few times talked about this on the show. Yes. Disappointed. I think he even tweeted or wrote to them or emailed. I don't know.
I did.
Posted on his social media.
I tagged him in many.
Also, last week, I took my kids to Taco Bell for the first time in their lives.
They enjoyed it.
Yeah. In fact, I gave they have 4 different levels of sauce, heat.
Yeah.
So my daughter likes hot sauce and went up, did Diablo. She's like, there's nothing. She's like, there's nothing.
She didn't like anything?
No, like the taste. She said it wasn't hot enough. Diablo.
Right, yeah, but the flavor's good. Fire and Diablo is a good flavor to the taco. It's not like it's gonna like burn you up, but it's just a good flavor to stuff. Right? That's the whole point of the Taco Bell dynamic. Right? And now when they're bringing back the Mexican pizza, game changes again. The Mexican pizza comes back, and what's funny is there's actually articles coming out saying there was a huge uproar amongst South Asian fans. And I was like, what kind of stereotypical? And I was like, hold up, I'm one of them. I do support this. So somebody, apparently there's a bunch of myths out there who are very like-minded when it comes to this. But it comes back on May 19th. So just see on the calendars, May 19th, it's back.
Oh, so so I go in there. Haven't been in Taco Bell in a year. Haven't been fast food.
Yeah.
Ever
Did you
know.
even know what
And
to order?
no. So I'm waiting and I'm waiting and I'm waiting.
You went
After
to the kiosk.
no, I did not.
That's
Finally, I
not
was like,
even just not
"Excuse me,
going to
can I
Taco
place
Bell.
an
That's just
order?"
you
And
being
it says, "Oh,
old,
you have to
dog.
order the kiosk." And I was like, "Oh, that's what we're doing now." So you have to put in your first name and your last initial.
Yeah.
Put in D's N because I'm a child.
With your kids, by the way. He's
With
doing
my
this with
kids.
kids
So my
present.
kids are losing it. They're crying, laughing. And I said, listen, when they come out and say order for D's N, you cannot laugh. So my son, he's already laughing. He's like, I can't take this. I got to go to the car. I can't stop laughing. I was like, no, you sit here. You enjoy your Taco Bell.
Wow, your
And you keep your
parenting
mouth
is so
shut.
questionable.
The lady came out. Order D's N. D's N.
You're so ridiculous, dog. Yo, you're so ridiculous, man.
Jeez.
But they enjoyed the Taco Bell, right?
Oh, they loved it.
What'd you get?
He got 2 Doritos tacos.
I've never even had one of those.
And she got my favorite, Crunchwrap Supreme.
I like the Crunchwrap Supreme. That's my go-to now. Now that there's no Mexican pizza, but the Mexican pizza comes back, that's gone.
Oh.
Right back to the pizza. That's a good game.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a positive news to end the day today. Is Mexican pizza's back? You're welcome. All my efforts. Vote. See, it can happen. we can affect change in this world. Everybody.
Yeah, affect change. Get this guy out of the White House. Yeah. Yeah. Have you seen how much money we're sending to Ukraine, by the way?
No, I haven't, but I'm assuming it's quite a lot.
Billions.
Yeah.
Billions with a B. My Flint, Michigan just get clean water after like 9 years.
Again, dog.
Billions.
I don't know why you're surprised by this at all. You know this dynamic, right? The situation is just that. It's very much, but also if you look at other countries as well, this puts us in a position where here's what's also going to happen, right? When this war is over, and let's assume that Ukraine maintains its sovereign land, who's going to rebuild that country? Because it's going to need some serious rebuilding, a la post World War II in Europe and stuff like that. Who's rebuilding that country?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And if you rebuild the country, what do you get back from rebuilding the country?
What do you
You're not just giving the money
resources.
Away. Now, rob is a strong word, but you're paying for the resources at that point because you're rebuilding the country. But okay, but you get something from it. So this is, and not only that, but you probably have a stronger presence and an ally close to keep an eye on your current quote unquote enemy, Russia. So the play is there. Having military ground is there. We are giving away equipment, etc. I obviously will not get paid for any of this stuff.
You know what billions could I do for healthcare?
Here's the difference, right? The difference is to affect change in this country. You have to get both parties on side and pass some laws. We haven't even taken care of freaking student loans, dog, which is a negligible thing that was part of the campaign.
Through Line
right?
or Planet
Even
Money
the
had
10K.
a good episode recently about
like how
Biden's
do you do it?
promise
What goes
and how
on?
to do
Yeah,
it,
and how to get some yeah. Well, the fact that
just
right
keeps
now is even
extending it.
worse. Keeping it in limbo is even worse.
Yeah, keep
but you
extending
can't
it.
change it now. Like you cannot go back to the way it was now. First of all, because election year, so you can't do that. So that won't happen right now. So this year, if you have student loans, federal student loans, but it's going to get paused again. That's pretty much a guarantee, right? Because there's no reason for them to do it now and roll it back and cost you money after that. It's not going to happen, right? But also that means that you're just sitting there and again, no interest is being earned. Nothing's happened. The money's just out there and the money's costing. So why not just write off the debt at certain points? Now, can he do it? Technically, yes. But what he wants to do is it's going to cause some conflict.
He wants Congress to do it, first of all. So
exactly,
it's not him.
because he wants, there you go.
He
wants the scapegoat, worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Right, because this is bipartisan, because then it becomes a bipartisan law and blah, 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 and everything's good because we did this as a collective and we did this for the people. Now, it sounds a lot better, but the reality is it doesn't do anything. It doesn't buy you anything.
But then I heard there's a lot of pushback from, ironically so, from even some Democrats who feel that this is an elitist thing.
Well, yeah, because you're saying people,
but they don't realize there's a stat that I if true, this is mind-boggling. Who knows? 30% of these student loans are for people who never finished college. Yeah. So it's not as if they're in some fancy job. No, and even let's say they finished college, they're coming out making what? 25K, 30K.
There's two ways to look at that, right? If I went to college and I dropped out, and I took out loans and I dropped out, one person would say, "Well, that's on you, man. If you toughed it out, you could have got a job, and hopefully you could have paid your student loans like some other people. Maybe stuck with it for 30 plus years, but you could have paid it off. But that's on you. You dropped out. Now, again, Everybody's got different situations in their life. Don't get me wrong. Or something really catastrophic could have happened, had to drop out. But the point being, if you didn't finish if you took a loan out and didn't finish, took a loan out to build a house, didn't finish the house. So on the hook, man, took the loan for the house. Right? My personal problems are my personal problems.
I say,
way to look at it.
Yeah. But I say the issue is the difference between those is we're in a society that's told us to be successful, you must go to college.
Yes.
Right? It's telling us that. And now it's to be successful, you must go to college and get a higher degree.
Yeah.
Right? Otherwise, you're coming out of college with a degree making 25, 30K and owing, 50 to 100K. The math doesn't make sense. Sure. Like you say, 1 + 1 = 5 with that. Right?
But you gotta go to a couple parties. You may have met a young lady or two or a young man or two, and you've had a good time for 4 years. And then the bills hit you. And you probably come out with wicked debt. And
here's the reality. Here's the reality. We went to the greatest school ever, the most fun school ever, for lack of a better word, the coolest school ever. It was amazing. It's not worth the money.
Hell no.
By any means.
But I went for 2 years because I couldn't afford it like Dominic. So I went for 2 years.
Still have
scholarship. Scholarship. All right.
Lastly, to finish up, Eddie on Facebook just said, going back to cops, I'm not sure if you covered it yet, but Texas cop confiscated weed on a cruiser on the camera. Never saw that. But what I did see is, I don't know if you noticed this.
That's the thing?
I don't know if you noticed this. The cops have now been, when people are recording them, playing music.
So you can't hear?
No, you can hear. It can't. YouTube and Facebook and all these places will remove
can't hear the sound.
Can it? Yeah. It's actually a brilliant move on the cops and a pretty effed up move on the cops. That they're playing music because then it becomes copyright infringement. So if they're doing something wrong or questionable and you're filming it, you get the video. There is no audio because the music is playing and these platforms remove the audio, which is wild. There was even a video in California of the cops showed up to a neighborhood at like 11:30 at night, and out of their car, they were blasting Disney music. And a local politician who happened to live on the block came there and berated them and said, this is asinine. They're waking people up at 11:30 at night. Lord knows you would be sleeping at 11:30 at night. Waking people up and doing things so that, they turn off the camera, their own cameras. It's, again, what I say, terrorist group.
No, this is my point. If you're gonna self-police, which is what they're doing,
like
they're not doing this for them. They're doing this for you. Yeah, they're doing it for the public appeal. They're doing it for the public. It's for the court of public opinion. So if I give you less information, you got less information. Everybody wins. I can't give you everything, so I'm gonna give you as little as I can within the law, right? And I'm gonna work around whatever I can. It's like anything. It's like filing taxes. I can give you how much, but if I have this, I can give you less. All right, we're good. It's that. If you cannot have a self-police institution that's above the law, which is exactly what this is, period, in any situation, it's exactly what this is. This is an institution that's above the law,
which is quite ironic.
No, but it is, and that's the shit reality.
I'm getting knee surgery 2 weeks.
What kind of surgery?
A knee. Scope it, clean it out.
We have orthoscopic though.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you be walking on that day.
I'll be on crutches for a week.
Really?
Yeah, maybe not arthroscopic then. What'd that mean?
You're joking, right? No, when they go with lasers, they don't cut you open.
Oh no, I'm getting a knife, bro.
Oh. Yeah. So you're not getting
I'm like, by the way, I said that with such confidence.
You did, man. You've also had 2 knee surgeries, so you should know this. Like me, we had the same 2 knee surgeries. You're such a friggin' idiot. I was going on the knife. I was like, what? Yeah. It's that bad, huh?
Yeah, it's been to my 4th doctor now.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
I hope you got that.
And he told me, this one told me, so remember the first one told me to change my lifestyle. Be like our friend Dre and just use like the elliptical. I can't even do something like that now. Like I cannot do anything. This doctor was like, yeah, you're not gonna, you may not play football again, may not be able to CrossFit. I was like, doc, same thing I said before. I said, I've always strived to be an average CrossFitter. Never hit that benchmark. I cannot stop now. I must become average one day. That's the goal. Right? I mean, what do you expect me to do?
Wow.
So he said, we'll see. It kind of sucks, man. I don't know. The goal. He said the goal now is the leg is locked. It's not even. It can't. It won't go straight. She's like, the main goal is to get your leg straight before there are other issues, major issues down the road. It just won't go straight.
What the hell do you do to yourself, man?
Yeah.
Dog, be better, son.
Be better. Justice over order. Eat well. Eat better. Sugar is the devil.
Except for Mexican pizza, May 19th.
Mexican pizza, May 19th. Be better. Justice over order. Apple has been good to us. Please, if you listen on Apple Music, or even if you don't, if you listen on Spotify or whatever else, but you have an Apple account, just write a review. Help us out, because Apple occasionally screws us over. Spread the word. Be better. Justice over order.
What's up, everybody? Take it easy.